Yeah. What's happening? Peace once again. Peace unto all. Another short, might go long, of Brother Shum's Corner. Okay. This is what we do. So, once again, this is basics. This is foundation basics. Foundation basics of the Bible. Okay, basic foundation verses of the Bible. So, basically, a short, I want to give you all, just to start, the names of the Most High and why I don't get into conference. This is not really what I'm going to deal with tonight, but, you know, it's good foundation. Why I don't deal with the confrontations, the Hebrew Israelite confrontations that is out there. So for me, I keep it simple. So let's start with the names of the Most High, right? This is all basic foundation. So the first name for me is the I Am, which is the existence of all things. He's the existence of all things. He said in Exodus 3, verse 11, and Moses said unto the Lord. See that? So the word power, God, the word God means power. So I don't use that unless I have to. Okay? That's why the Arabs say Allah. The Arabs say Allah, which is power. Now, anyone can be a power. Anyone can be a power. So if you're more powerful than somebody else, you are a God. That's what the word God means. Power. And I'm going to show you that. Another basic foundation verse. That's why people are getting all messed up. And Moses said unto the Lord, who am I that I should go unto Pharaoh and that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt? And he said, certainly I shall be with thee, and this shall be a token unto thee that I have sent thee. And when thou hast brought forth the people out of Egypt, you shall serve the Lord upon this mountain. And Moses said unto the Lord, behold, when I come unto the children of Israel and shall say unto them, the power of your fathers have sent me unto you. So when you do that, you're reading it properly. You're reading the Bible properly. The powers of your fathers have sent me unto you, and they shall say, what is his name? See that? So the same confusion that is out there right now, everybody's fighting about this name, Yahweh, Yeshua, Yoshua, all this. That's what people are doing right now. People are fighting and arguing about the same thing, his name. Right? And he says, what shall I say unto them? And the Lord said unto Moses, I am that I am. And he said, thus shall you say unto the children of Israel, I am, have sent me unto you. Bang. That's the first name. Okay? Now watch the second name. Watch the second name that he's going to give you for himself. Right? That's why I don't argue about these names. Let's go up into the book of Daniel now. Let's go up into the book of Daniel and watch the second name. Right? Now, there's many different names, but I'm keeping it simple. And then I'm going to show you verses why I keep it simple. Let's go to the book of Daniel, the 7th chapter and the 9th verse. And he says, I beheld till the thrones were cast down. So the thrones is whatever seat that anybody's ruling on. So Daniel has seen all the kingdoms coming down. He's seen all the people that's ruling coming down. He's seen corporation presidents coming down. He's seen gang leaders, OGs, big homies. Whoever you are that's a throne, you're coming down. Okay? And the Ancient of Days did sit. See, another name for the Most High is the Ancient of Days. He's before time. So when you talk to people and they say, well, the name of God and all this and God and Jehovah and all that, man, you ain't supposed to get caught up into that. This is basic foundation verses of the Bible. You ain't supposed to get caught up into that. You're supposed to know the scriptures and know where to go to the scriptures to keep yourself stable. Whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. See that? So now, There it is. I gave you a second name that's written in the scriptures. Let me give you a third name, right, that he calls himself. Let's go backwards now to Isaiah. Isaiah. Isaiah 40 verse 28. Have you not known? Have you not heard that the Lord, the everlasting power, the Lord, the creator of the heavens, of the ends of the earth, fainted not, neither is weary. There is no searching of his understanding. Number one, he never gets tired. He's energy. He never gets tired. Okay. Now, he gave names. The everlasting God. He is the everlasting God because the word God means power. The Lord. Okay. A lot of cats, you hear a lot of these Israelite groups get into crazy debates about the word Lord. I don't give a damn. The word Lord is a masculine title of rulership. That's what it is. The masculine title of rulership. Okay. The creator of the ends of the earth fainted not. Why does he not faint? Because he's energy. He never gets tired. Okay. So when in Genesis, the first chapter, the second chapter where it says the Lord finished and rested, energy never rests. Energy's constant. Energy's constant. Energy never rests. He just stopped creating. That's it. Everything was completed. He stopped creating. Game's over. Okay. So now I'm going to give you now why I do not argue about his name. Right. So all you got to do is go in the book of Zephaniah. Right. Let's go in the book of Zephaniah first, and then we're going to go into Zechariah. Zephaniah, the last chapter, and the 9th verse. Zephaniah, the 3rd chapter and the 9th verse. Listen to this well. He says, "For then will I turn to the people a pure language." See that? So now, all the arguments, confrontations, debates about language and phonetics and all this, whose Hebrew is correct or whatever. No, the Lord said, when this thing is done, he will return to the whole world a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of the Lord to serve him with one consent. See that? So if you out there debating people about, well, it's this name and that name, he ain't got no time for that, because he know exactly what name you calling him in. And if you the one that he gonna listen to, whatever language you was in, he gonna listen to you in whatever language. If you in French and you call to him, he gonna listen to you in French. Okay? He ain't got to know Hebrew for him to listen to you, because before you knew Hebrew, he was listening to you before that. See, that's the madness, man, when people try to put the Lord inside a box. All right? Let's go in the book of Zechariah now. Let's go in the book of Zechariah and watch this now. Zechariah. Okay. Zechariah 14 verse 9. Look at this verse. Zechariah 14 verse 9. "And the Lord shall be king over all the earth. In that day there shall be one Lord, and his name one." Zechariah 14 verse 1. So now when he gives us all back that pure language upon the earth, everybody's going to know how to call his name properly upon the planet. There's going to be no debating. There's going to be no arguments. There's going to be no beating people up. There's going to be no confrontations, no none of that. See that? So these are basic foundation verses about the Lord's name. Basic foundation verses about the Lord's name. You understand why you're not supposed to be debating and arguing? And if somebody doesn't know, they don't know. That's the end of the story. They just don't know. So today, what shall I get into besides that now? What shall I get into was basic foundation verses. Okay, here's another part. What is the purpose of a woman in the Bible? What was the purpose of a woman that the Lord created a woman for? Okay. And then I'm going to go back up into Revelation. I'm going to give you all a couple of chapters about that. Basic foundation verses. Okay. How things started and how they're going to end up being the same. All right. Let's jump back to Genesis. Basic foundation verses. Okay. Genesis, the first chapter and the 26th, 27th, and 28th verse. Now, a lot of people have discrepancies with these verses, and they think that you created them. They think that you're giving your own interpretation. This is basic English language, man. Comprehension, reading comprehension. Reading comprehension, it all depends on your literacy skills. You understand? What is it that you understand and comprehend and can put together? Okay? So this is Genesis 1 verse 26. It says, and the Lord said, let us make man in our image after our likeness. Number one, basic understanding, our means plural. Let us means plural. So that means that there was more than one God there. And God, singular, said, let us. Now, who's the us? Christ. So wait, Christ was back there in Genesis with the Father? Yes, he was. Basic foundation verses. Just go up in the book of John. Let's go up in the book of John and see that. And let's go in the book of Hebrews. Basic foundation verses. John, the 1st chapter. And the 1st verse. It says, in the beginning was the Word. See that? What beginning? Genesis, the 1st chapter. In the beginning was the Word. Who was the Word? Christ. Who was the Word? Christ. How do you know Christ was the Word? Revelation 19 verse 13. Revelation 19 verse 13. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with the Father. See, the word God means power. Okay, so the Most High, he's the power. So Christ was with the Father, and the Word was a power. The Word was a power, or God. So what does the word God mean? The word God means one who has power. How do we know that? Let's jump into Exodus. Let's hold Genesis, the whole Revelation, and let's jump into Exodus and see what the Lord does. Let's go to Exodus and show you how one can be made a God if one has power. Let's go to Exodus, the 7th chapter and the 1st verse. So now what we're doing is we're proving about power, okay, what the word God means. And the Lord said unto Moses, see, I have this day made thee a God. See, the word means what? A God, a power to Pharaoh. Now, Pharaoh was the supreme commander. Pharaoh is like Trump right now, or Biden, or Kamala Harris. Back then, Pharaoh was a God, because the kings and queens over nations or people that was of an authority were considered like gods. But the Lord gave Moses so much power, he was like a god to Pharaoh. Pharaoh had to bow down to him, and Aaron thy brother shall be thy prophet. See that? So the word God means power. So that when Moses had his staff, now Pharaoh was like, yo, this dude is on another level. This dude is on another level, okay? So there it is, a verse showing you that that's what the word God means. The word God means power, right? So when you go up into John, right, the 1st chapter, it says the 2nd verse, the same was in the beginning with the Father. The same was in the beginning with the Father. All things were made by him. So how do we further validate that all things were made by him? Let's go up in the book of Hebrews. Basic foundation verses. That's all this is to me. Basic foundation verses. I'm not giving anything complicated. I'm not giving anything too deep. Basic foundation verses. Let's see that Christ was there with the Father. Let's go in the book of Hebrews, the 1st chapter. Let's see that Christ was there with the Father and the angels when the creation was done. Hebrews 1 verse 1. The Lord, who at sundry times and in diverse manners spake in times past unto the fathers by the prophets. See that? Now, when he spake in times past by the prophets, that's called a theocracy government. Theo meaning God, ocracy. Okay? So he was ruling us through the prophets, through the judges, through Moses, through Joshua, and then through the different prophets, and then through the judges, and then into the prophets. The Lord, who at sundry times and in diverse manners spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets, having these last days spoken unto us by his Son, whom he have appointed heir of all things, listen to this well, and by whom also he made the worlds. Wait, what is he talking about? John, the 1st chapter, 3rd verse. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. See that? In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shined in the darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. We were the darkness. The nation of Israel was the darkness. And we didn't comprehend Christ. We didn't understand Christ. Okay? So dropping back. Christ now, who being the brightness of the Lord's glory, Christ is the brightness of the Lord's glory. Now check this verse out. And the express image of his person. Image meaning that's how he looked, like the Father. So if you say, well, I look like my Father, I'm the image of my Father. And if you look like your Father, you're the image of your Father. That's why there's a verse where doubting Thomas asked Christ, well, show us the Father, and it sufficed us. Or it could have been John or whatever. He said, how long have I been around you? When you see me, you see the Father. When you see me, you see the Father, because me and my Father is one. Okay? And the express image of his person. So there it is. Basics, right? So let's drop back now. Genesis 1:26. He says, let us make man in our image. So was it just man alone? Now, this was the 6th day. Another thing. This is the 6th day. Okay, so you're saying, well, how do I know that this is the 6th day, and how long is a day? Now you got to know precepts, basic foundation verses. Okay? Is this 24 hours? Is this 24 days? What is a day? Well, what is a day? A time span of a day. So for you to find out the time span of a day, you got to go up. Okay? You got to go up into, give me 1 second here. Okay, so for us to go up and find out what a day is, you got to move up into Peter's. Okay, here we go. 2 Peter's the 3rd chapter and the 8th verse. So how do we know what is a day? If it's 6 days that man was created in the 6th day, how long was that time span? Was that 24 hours? Okay, let's go into the Bible. 2 Peter's the 3rd chapter and the 8th verse. He says, but beloved, basic foundation verses. Be not ignorant of this one thing. No, he's not putting you down. It's just that ignorant, you don't know. That one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. So one day with the Lord is 1,000 years. How do we know? 2 Peter 3, verse 8. Here's another verse, Psalms 90, verse 4. Psalms 90, verse 4 validates what Peter was talking about. David validated that, showing you one day with the Lord is 1,000 years. So in the 6th day in Genesis, when man was created, that was another 1,000-year period. So that's 6,000 years when man came upon the scene. Things were already created. The sun, the moon, the stars, and all those things. Seasons were coming in. All those things were already created back then in certain points and times. Okay? Now, what is our purpose? Now, let's see something. Basic understanding, right? Was it just man alone that was created? That's another religious doctrine lie. Let's go basic foundation verses of the Bible. Another religious doctrine lie is just man alone was created, and then one woman was created. Okay, and then that man, Adam, slept with that woman, created a bunch of people. No, that's a damn lie. Okay, this is Genesis, the 5th chapter and the 1st verse. This is the book of the generation of Adam. See that? The word Adam means taken from the earth. This is the book of the generation of Adam, in the day that the Lord created man. See that? So he's using man as a title. Okay? In the likeness of the Lord made he him. In the likeness of the Lord made he him. Now watch. Male and female created he them. See that? So in the umbrella of man, it's male and female. It's man and woman. Created he them. And blessed them and called their name Adam or Adawam in the day that they were created. See that? So in Genesis, the first chapter, from the 26th to the 27th verse, that's the 6th day. Genesis, the 5th chapter, is telling you back, and he gave you a name. So women were called Adam. And it wasn't just one man, it was women that were called Adam. I'm going to get all into that today. Okay? So now what was the purpose that man and woman was created for? So he says, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. See, man was created to dominate this earth. Man was created. That's a law. So the white man is just doing what you were supposed to be doing. That's a law right there. He's giving you a law. Let them have dominion. Dominion comes from the word dominate. Okay? So the Lord created man in his own image. In the image of the Lord created he him. Watch. Male and female created he them. See that? So stop lying and stop producing and promulgating lies, man. Male and female, especially on the Bible, because you are going to be checked for that, man. Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply. So what is your purpose as a woman and a man? Is to be fruitful. So right there, that negates all homosexuality, all lesbianism, all this madness. That's why people don't like the Bible, because it speaks the truth against their spirit and the acts and the deeds that they're doing. Look at it again. So Steve and Steve, nope. Mary and Susan, nope. That's just your lust that you're going into. And the Lord blessed them. And the Lord said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it. Right? So that's what you're supposed to do, subdue the earth. So the white man is doing that now. Why? He's creating subways. He's cutting through the ground. He's subduing the earth. He's controlling it, shaping it. Look, he's made the Suez Canal. He's made the Panama Canal. He's made a canal here. He's done this here. He's done that there. He's now doing this. And over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. See, that's a law. Okay? So now, the word Adam means taken from the earth. So the Caucasian man was not taken from the earth. The Caucasian man came from you. The Caucasian man, the European, the so-called white man came from you. Okay? You were created from the earth. How do we know that? Genesis, the 2nd chapter, right? Genesis, the 2nd chapter. Let's see that man, the brown-colored man. Adam and Eve could not have been a Caucasian man and a Caucasian woman. Why? And the heavens and the earth was finished, and all the host of them. Wait, but there is no hell. When he finished the creation, there was no place called hell. And the word heaven just means a high state concerning the firmament. The word heaven just means a high state concerning the firmament. Okay, so let's look at that. Let's go back to Genesis. See, you got to know your basic foundation verses. So everybody's trapped looking for this Shangri-La that they're going to go to, right? So let's jump quick. Genesis, the 1st chapter, and I'm going to start at the 6th verse. And the Lord said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the water. So what am I drinking? I'm drinking water. I'm drinking liquid water. But what am I walking through? I'm walking through gas water. So that's what he did. He separated the two. So that's science right there. And the Lord said, let it divide the waters from the water. So now space, or what the Bible calls the deep, is water. How do we know that Bible calls space the deep? Genesis, the 1st chapter. In the beginning, the Lord created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void. See that? So when you go to Genesis, the first chapter and the second verse, he's telling you I created it in the first verse. But now the second verse, he's going to break down how he did it step by step by step. And that's why he says, and the earth was without form. There was nothing there, so there's nothing here. But he sees it. Him and the angels see it. There's nothing there. And darkness was upon the face of the deep. So right now, it's nighttime where I'm at. So if I look straight up into space, I'm looking at darkness, and he called it the deep. The deep represents what? Water. See that? You got shallow water by the seashore, and then as you go out deeper, you're going out into the deep where you can drown. And the Spirit of the Lord moved upon the face of the waters. So now, in the primal state, when they were creating, there were elements. There were spiritual elements, just like there's elements here that we cannot see, that we do not have the power to shape and mold and create. So the Spirit of the Lord, which is the angels, Christ in them, they moved upon the elements. And that's how they started the creation period. That's how they started the creation period all throughout the universe, right? And the Lord said, let there be light. So the first thing he created was light. He didn't create the sun. He created light. And there was light. So I'm jumping over to the 8th verse. I'm jumping down to 6th verse. And the Lord said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the water. So what he did was he took a shell and cut out, not a flat piece, like people talk about there's a flat earth. He created a shell, a circular shell, and he cut it out from the universe. That's why we are anchored in the middle. The planet Earth is anchored in the middle of the universe, right? And he said, let it divide the waters. So the firmament entrap whatever is inside from whatever is outside, creating for you an environment. Just like if you got a fish tank, when you get a fish tank, you create an environment for your fish. Okay? And the Lord made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament. So now we are under the firmament. We are under what is called the ozone layer, which are under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. Excuse me. See that? So space is called the firmament. And the Lord called the firmament heaven. Bang. The first time the word heaven is used in the Bible is Genesis, the 1st chapter and the 8th verse. See, basic foundation verses. It wasn't used for a place where you go to Shangri-La after you die. See that? These are the religious foundation lies that all these different religions push and you bite into. And all that is called the flood from Satan. All religious doctrine is called the flood from Satan. And he says in the evening and the morning was the second day. So that's 2,000 years of his creating whatever he created in those 2,000 years. So let's jump back. He's still in Genesis, right? The 2nd chapter. And thus the heavens and the earth was finished, and all the host of them. And on the 7th day the Lord ended his work which he made, and he rested on the 7th day from all his work which he made. Bang, here's another discrepancy. So people think now God is, man, I'm tired. I done worked hard. These are religious lies. These are religious lies, man. And you're going to be judged if you're teaching these lies. Okay, you must understand. God never gets tired. So you probably say, well, how did I find that out? Study the Bible. Good. Let's go up into Isaiah. Isaiah, the 40th chapter. Isaiah, the 40th chapter and the 28th verse. He says, hast thou not known? Have you not heard? Why is he asking the question? That the everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainted not, neither is weary. But now you have to ask your question, just like there's a question there. Why is it that he never gets weary? Because he is energy. He is fire. You tell me when fire ever gets tired. How do we know that? Let's go up in the book of Hebrews. Everything is basic foundation verses. Everything is basic foundation verses. Hebrews 12, verse 29. And this verse here, I can expound on this verse with 20 scriptures showing you the power of this being, how he's created, how he's energy. For our power is a consuming fire. Sucks you up. He's the energy that you come from. So energy don't get tired. He didn't go, yo, man, I was working really hard them 6,000 years. So y'all got to hold it down. I'm tired. I got to go to sleep. No, I go to sleep. I go to sleep. Okay, so there it is. Let's go back to Genesis, the 2nd chapter. And the Lord blessed the 7th day and sanctified it. Because of it, he had rested from all his work, which the Lord created and made. These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth. So now he had completed the earth and he completed the heavens, which were outside, the stars and all these different things. See that? That's what Genesis, that's why all these different religious doctrine books are liars. Okay? They're liars because they don't have a Genesis. This garbage book right here, the Book of the Dead, straight garbage book, but it's a historical book, has no Genesis to it. This garbage book right here has no Genesis to it. Then where did we come from? Where did people come from? Okay? Where did people come from in the Bible? I mean, in these books that they read, that they esteem to be the books of God or gods, where do people come from? Where do nations come from? They don't exist in these books. Okay? There is no Genesis, breaking things down. So that's why you must study. Let's drop down to the 7th verse. And the Lord power formed man of the dust of the ground. See that? So we come from the dust of the ground. Take ground. Take the ground. We come from the dust of the ground. And breathe into his nostrils. Now, let's break this down. The word dust represents a low state. A low state. So this man, Adam, was in a low state. He was taken out. Because this is the 7th day. He was taken out. And the Lord power formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils. It ain't talking about here because the man was already alive. Men were already alive from Genesis, the 1st chapter and the 6th verse, the 26, 27, 28 verse. The breath of life. So now when you are risen up in the knowledge of the Lord, you are being given the breath of life. And man became a living soul. So now you become a God. Now you become a God because now you understand what God's is. There's a comparison difference between regular men and you. Between regular men and you. Okay. So let's go back to the woman thing. I got a couple of time. Right. So now we understand that. So now this one woman was a special woman, a special sister. She was named Eve. Okay. Let's see the curse and the destiny curse that was put upon her. Genesis, the 3rd chapter, because of what she did, right? I'm going to come straight to the verse. When the Lord asked her, he says, unto the woman, now she's going to get her destiny curse. I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. So you tell me, you're a man, you read in the Bible, King James. That's just the title of this book. Okay. This is a different publishing house. It is the same King James, a different publishing house. This is Zondervan's publishing house. I always like this one. It's got good precepts in it. This one is a different publishing house. This is the Nelson publishing house, but still King James. Okay, still King James. There's others I have around. I have many different Bibles from different publishing houses, but they all King James 1611, and they all say the same thing. Then I have others from other publishing houses or interpretations, and they changed up the wording. Okay, very important to know that. Genesis, the 3rd chapter. So you read near your Bible, you're sitting there with your woman, and you come across this verse. Do you believe it? Do you believe it? Does she believe it? Unto the woman, he said. Wait, I thought y'all supposed to believe the Bible. Or is it that you pick and choose what you want in the Bible? Unto the woman, meaning woman that's then and woman that's now. That's another thing I found out too. Basic verses in the Bible. A lot of people now, in today's time, is saying, well, that verse was for then. It's not for now. That situation was for then. It's not for now. And maybe you can be right, because in this society, you can't stone people as judgment like back then. So, but does this verse apply then? Has this verse been abolished by the Lord? Has this verse been abolished by the Lord? Unto the woman, he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow, and thy conception. So is this verse still in effect? Yes, it is. Because your woman, when you procreate with her, she has to conceive, and she brings forth pain. And in sorrow thou shalt bring forth children. So obviously, this verse is still in play. Now, this is the part. She will bring forth the child, or one child, or two child, or 10 children. But your desire, woman, this is what he said, shall be to thy husband. You're supposed to desire your husband. And he is supposed to rule over you. Not you rule over him, or you tell him what you think, and he's supposed to just go, well, okay, that's what you think. If the word desire, that's all you thinking about. What does my husband feel? What does my man feel if you truly love that man? You're not supposed to be having doubt. You're not supposed to be having doubt. If you're sleeping with him, then you just open your legs to any man, and then you try to figure it out later on. Which way does it go? Which way does it go? So bang, that's the first one, right? Now, let's see the second purpose. That's Old Testament. Now, another thing that everybody always say, well, that's the Old Testament. That's the Old Testament. We don't deal with that no more. We don't deal with that no more. Okay. What is your purpose? What is the purpose of the woman? Let's go up now. New Testament. New Testament. First, let's deal with what Christ said. Matter of fact, let's deal with Paul in the book of Corinthians. Once again, a lot of people pick and choose what they want. Let's see if Paul isn't saying the same thing. 1 Corinthians, the 11th chapter, and the first verse, and I'm going to close on that. Now, like I said, I could go into, but these are all foundation verses, so what I'm doing is I'm validating Old Testament and New Testament, saying the same thing. Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Christ. Paul was chosen by the Father through Christ. Now I praise you, brethren, that you remember me in all things, and keep the ordinances, which is laws or rules and regulations, as I have delivered them to you. Paul brought them. Then he says, but I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man. Now, see, bang, you uptight about that? So You got somebody that's supposed to be above you. The head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is the Father. So Christ ain't got no beef that the Father is his head. Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoreth his head. Because your crown is not supposed to be covered. That's why we wore something called mitres. Mitres had a centerpiece in the middle. Now you may think of it as a turban, like what the Indians wear, the sheiks and stuff like that, and what the Muslims and the Moors wear. But a mitre properly wrapped is like a diamond shape with layers, right? And in the center, our hair is open in a triangular form. That's a mitre. Okay. Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoreth his head. So right now I'm not praying, nor am I prophesying. Okay. All I'm doing is breaking down or interpreting the word, right? But every woman that prayeth or prophesied with her head uncovered, dishonored her head. So he's saying, if you as a woman is praying, or maybe you might be given a prophecy, right? You're supposed to have your head covered. That's why in the churches, they follow that. You know, the women put a little white shawl on top of their head. Look, that's what they do. For it is all even as if she was shaven. So why is it talking about shaving? For if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn. But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered. So if you don't have no hair as a woman, it's a shame. It's a shameful thing. You're supposed to cover up. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for in so much as you men of the nation of Israel that are doing the right thing, is the image and glory of the Father, but the woman is the glory of the man. So if you got a good woman, she's your glory. But you now is supposed to be the glory. You were created to be the glory of the Father. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. See that? So by a man procreating with a woman, he can bring forth either a male child or a female child. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. So when you procreate with the woman, you can bring forth a woman or you can bring forth a man. Neither was the man created for the woman. Wait, but the woman, what is the purpose of a woman? But the woman was created for the man. Basics of the Bible. Basics. There it is in plain English. Now, millions of people don't like that. It don't put them in a good strategy position. But let me show you all this before I leave. You better know what you're talking about concerning this Bible, man. Let's go in the book of Matthew. Either that or shut the hell up. A lot of people going to pay for running their mouth against this book. A lot of people going to pay. Matthew, the 12th chapter, the 36th and 37th verse. When you read this verse, man, read this verse over and over and over. Shut your mouth, man. You're making a joke. You think this book is chatter. But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. See that? Your mouth coming from here. Idle words. You laugh and you joke and you think it's a game. You think you can just say anything. Nope. Matthew 12, verse 36 and 37. So with that, I say peace. In short closing, post if you like. Add more people. I appreciate that. Subscribe. Leave comments. It could be negative or bad. You can, post if you want more topics, what you may be confused on and stuff like that. I appreciate that. Maybe I might be able to expound upon it. If the Lord gave me that understanding. I really do. So with that, like I said before, everything is the spirit. Some days I'm in the spirit. I'm on the street. I try to work hard for what I do. So I thank him for that little bit of money and time, and I thank him for blessing me with the knowledge that I'm able to expound to you, whoever's looking at this, and hopefully you'll be able to take it, open your Bible, and just look at the verses and so forth like that, and apply it. So, I'm going to be able to go high. Sometimes I may go into history. Sometimes I may go into prophecy, future prophecies coming up. I'm going to start dipping more into Revelation, showing you what's going on today with the so-called white man. Also, too, that's another thing, too, going into the so-called white man, because that's who rules us. Nancy Pelosi, Schumer, Donald Trump, all these different people, Biden. These are all so-called white men, Edomites. And that's relevant because those are relevant to the Bible. It is relevant to the Bible because America is Babylon. So I'm gonna start touching that more and more. Okay, Lord bless, I'm gonna bring that up tomorrow about Babylon. Okay, that'll be a good topic, basic topic about Babylon tomorrow. Peace.